with that, we are going to move finally on to the segments of the week. For those who have skipped ahead in this video to get to this point to see what we thought about Michael Penix Jr., welcome back. You missed a couple fun topics. I would recommend you go back and check out our Ivan Pace Spotlight portion. We did a great breakdown on him and his comparisons to London Fletcher. But with that, we are going to get into the Michael Penix draft profile. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's kind of, we're getting to a point with these draft profiles where I'm starting to get really disappointed in this quarterback draft. I mean, so far we've discussed.
Oh no.
We've discussed Drake May. We've discussed Michael Penix Jr. We've discussed Jaden Daniels, and none of them have really blown us away. And like, wow, this guy's a surefire, can't miss kind of prospect. That trend does continue with Michael Penix Jr., a guy who I had a lot of high hopes for going into this draft or going to this video. So the games I watched were his Washington State and Oregon Pac-12 championship. But just a little history of Michael Penix Jr. He did start his college career off in Indiana, where he suffered 2 ACL tears and a shoulder injury before transferring to Washington last year. He did have a great season last year. He threw for over 4,000 yards. I think he led the country or was top 2 in the country in touchdowns. Helped get the Huskies to a 10-2 record. Just barely missing out on the CFP playoffs. Bounce back this year. We had him predicted Huskies predicted to actually make the playoffs this year, which seems to have really landed well. Go check out that video.
It did.
Yeah. He's a strong-arm quarterback. He's got a laser cannon attached to his shoulder. He has overcome his injuries the past 2 seasons. He has been clean. I don't think he's missed any games. He's been fantastic. He has a great deep ball. Now, I do want to get to the problems that we did kind of see with him. He has some of the worst throwing mechanics I've seen in a long time. He throws like a 3/4 release.
No.
He has inconsistent footwork that leads to accuracy issues. And kind of like I just mentioned, he's got this big arm, and it almost kind of acts against him because he doesn't throw a whole lot with anticipation either. And he tries doing too much. He tries forcing it in too much. He'll throw off his back foot. He'll throw off a terrible platform, all arm, and just loses a lot of the accuracy on it. He'll sail balls to guys that are, wide open. He doesn't set guys up for yak very well. He can throw a ball to a spot. Like if you just tell him, hey, man, throw it 50 yards and hit the 50-yard line, he could probably do that. But he's not, leading guys too well. We saw only a few incidences of it. He doesn't really look comfortable throwing on the run. His accuracy is pretty much 50-50 whenever he takes off like that. You're either going to get a dime from him or you're going to get a ball in the dirt.
Hey, E.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a quick question too. Do you often see, and like your breakdown is awesome, but do you often see quarterbacks with big arms tend to not throw with anticipation often, or with rhythm and timing often, because they're like, hey, I got this cannon right here. I can make this throw. I don't need to throw it when the receiver's breaking, but I can more see it throw it. Or do you think this is something that like he just doesn't have this tool in his like kit? Like this is not built in him.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So what I've kind of noticed is kind of with him a little bit like Lamar Jackson, a little bit. I think who else were we discussing about earlier? Either way, I think it was Caleb.
I said his gameplay kind of reminds me of like Kirk Cousins a little bit because he's more a pocket guy, has a strong arm. I sometimes make fun the way he runs or lack of running, but that's for my own internal jokes. But because he's just God, if you gotta go watch the film, he's not going anywhere. So that's why I kind of said like the Kirk Cousins stuff, because he'll move a little bit, but he's not creating space, y'all. He's not going to take off and run fucking players down.
He's not shaking and making.
He's a statue back there.
Yeah, I've noticed the guys with the big arms, they do tend to not throw with anticipation. They know they have a big enough arm that they can fit it into a tight window. They could beat the corner to a spot. So they seem to allow themselves the ability to wait to confirm that this route's open. Because even with Michael Penix specifically, I mean, there was a lot of times where I was watching, he would get to the right guy, but then he would just kind of hold it and pause on it until he knew for a fact it was going to get open and throw it. So, and he didn't, he's not really he could probably learn to throw with anticipation, but I just don't think he sees the value in it because he can get the ball there. I mean, in a snap. So he just kind of lets things develop, waits till the guy's out of his break and knows this guy's open and then throws. It was also kind of funny, as I did notice a little bit in the video, a couple of the videos, it almost, when he does throw with anticipation, it almost kind of hurts him. Because there's, I think it was the first game I watched against Washington State. It was one of the first throws where he threw the guy where he thought he was going to be, but the receiver got held out of his break on the comeback, which caused him to be late. The ball got there too quick, and it looked like a ridiculous pass. It was one of those ones where I was like, so it kind of makes me wonder if that's like kind of the stuff that teaches him, hey, maybe I shouldn't throw with anticipation. I should wait until the guy gets out of his break so I can see if he got held out of his break or something like that and get to him on time, because if I just throw it where I think he's going to get there, it's going to get there too quick. But
yeah, that makes sense. But I also want to add too, man, real quick, like even when I notice that he is waiting for a guy to get open, like some throws, man, are like wildly bad. Like,
oh yeah,
there'd be people like I was watching the Boise State game, which I think was one of the first games of this season, and they had I think it was Polk, like a deep crosser, and like it would have been a touchdown. And when I say he was open, like he was like wide ass open, like 7 yards of space, probably more, and he just sails it over his like head. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like that's a wide open throw. And like he just completely just sailed it over top of him. Well, like was not even close. Then I watched I think it was the Cal game. I saw the same thing. He just like sailed it. I'm like, dude, like, and I watched him live a few times, and I thought like I didn't see those issues come up that often, but now that I watched back in the film, like, damn, his like placement and like he's not the most like precise passer at that time. So I don't know if you saw the same thing, but I was actually shocked when I like saw that.
So I think it's one of those things where in live action you kind of forget about it because they move to the next play so quickly, and they're such an explosive offense that he'll miss that shot. Then the next shot he throws a perfectly thrown ball to where only Odunze or Polk or McMillan are the only ones that can get it, and it's a 50-yard gain. You're like, oh wait, what was the previous play anyway? You kind of forget about it when you're going back and watching tape. You kind of fixate. And yeah, I think that goes right back to what we were talking about. What I was talking about earlier with his footwork. I mean, there was a time there was a play in Oregon, the Oregon Pac-12 championship game, where his body, say I'm trying to throw at the camera, his body was facing this way, and he threw it that way. And it's just that's not a way to throw that's going to be consistent. But in the same time, same game, I think it was like a few plays after, he throws this absolute laser, perfect pass between the safety and the corner on the slot fade that only his receiver had a chance to make a catch, and he should have made a catch. He dropped it, but so it's interesting to see the duality. So if he can get his throwing mechanics cleaned up, he could be a really good passer. The problem is his throwing mechanics, his feet, they're so inconsistent right now. He doesn't like there's certain times he just doesn't even step into his throw. Like he'll just straight throw it from his like kind of like whipping it from the hip. It's such a weird thing to watch.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it's a testament to how strong his arm is. But it's like if you can get your feet aligned with your arm and start stepping and driving into your throws, you're going to get more consistent accuracy, and you're going to get more out of your passing. You're going to be able to, obviously be a consistent passer. Which kind of funnily leads me right into my style comp. He plays a lot to me like a Lamar Jackson that can't run. To add to your point, to go back to your point of, he's just not mobile. Like he's okay for like subtle in the pocket movements, but I think I saw him take off once, and that was it. I mean, every other time he got hawked down by a D lineman or something like that. He's not a mobile guy. So
he's not. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. I have like the same thing for style play too, and I'm with you on your point. And like if he can just fix his mechanic issues, yeah, he could be a damn good passer, like a damn good pure passer, because his arm strength is there. Like his arm strength pops off the screen. He throws on ropes. Like you can tell it's there, right? And to your point, like I don't know, it's just quote unquote being lazy. Like he knows he has arm strength. He's like, yeah, I don't need to step into it. I can throw my back foot, or I don't know. But if he can clean that stuff up now, like I don't know how much better he will get once he enters the NFL regarding that stuff. But I'm sure there is room for growth there, and if he can figure that out, yeah, I can see him working out for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just not if he needs to really get. It could happen in the draft process. I don't know who Lamar Jackson worked with to get his throwing mechanics, because Lamar Jackson the same way coming into the draft, his throwing mechanics were terrible. But I don't know whoever Lamar Jackson worked with. He needs, Michael Penix needs to reach out to that guy, because his
that's true.
Throwing motion's obviously cleaned up. He's much more consistent. It's why he's exploded onto the screen more as a passer now. But I've never seen a guy who gets to the right read, quickly and on time, but just doesn't deliver a good ball, because it's just. And here's to add to this too. It's wild. It's almost, how do I put this? Never mind. He's such a rhythm thrower. Like when he's on, everything's perfect. The ball comes out perfect. Placements, screens are perfect. Deep passes are thrown perfect. It's like a machine. It's just, when it's in rhythm, it's fantastic. But the minute it gets out of rhythm, it's a drive killer. He'll miss 3 throws in a row that are wide open. It's until he gets back out there for the next drive. And I watched Washington do it. So it's kind of like you got to wind it back up. You got to give him a screen here, a screen there, a screen here. Then he's good. He's back on rhythm again. He starts making these throws back in rhythm, where he's hitting deep outs on time. He's hitting crossers in time. He's hitting out routes in time. It was such an odd thing to see. And I really hope wherever he goes, they use that same, or they need to use that same philosophy of, you need to sit up with screens. You need to build his confidence back up with screens and get him into the rhythm of throwing with the screens, to then allow him to start taking more shots down the field.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, no, I kind of see the same thing. And like when plays go out of structure too, he struggles a little bit, to what you said. Throwing on the run, I think he has like a 41% completion percentage, if we saw. Yeah. So it kind of raises question marks, at least for me, on the tools that he does have and how much upside there is. So Emmett, with that being said, I don't know if you have any more, but I'm dying to ask you, where do you see him falling then in this draft? Do you still think he's first round? Do you think he'll fall to round 2? Where do you see him going?
This is so mean. For those that don't have the context, I've been telling B all year, the Bears need to draft Michael Penix Jr. He's a top 10 quarterback. He's a top 10 pick. And I'm sure he's still going to be a first round pick. I'm sure he'll line it up at his pro day and he'll convince some teams that he's fixed some things. For me personally, I think the sweet spot for him is a low second, high third round draft pick. Again, there's enough there that you warrant the attempt to fix it and clean up the mechanics. Again, the problem is how quickly is he going to take the new mechanics? How much are they going to stay? Is it the minute he gets into a game, does he regress back to the old mechanics? But I mean, from a mental standpoint, he seems like he's there. He seems like he gets to the right read. I didn't see him throw a whole lot of interceptions. I don't think I actually saw him throw any interceptions that were because he was confused by the defense. It was all overthrows or an underthrow on a deep route. Again, he's got a laser arm. He's not mobile, so that is what it is. Take it, but you will. Not every team uses mobile quarterbacks like that. So it's just about how much are you willing to bank on his mechanics improving, which would then therefore improve his accuracy. So
that's fair. I think that's fair. I mean, he'll probably end up going higher, like you said, because it's the nature of the NFL and drafts, and people love like the quarterbacks in the first round. Yeah, and we said in this year's draft there might be a record of quarterbacks taken in the first round, so he's definitely going to be one of them. And he has a couple of opportunities on the big stage to show what he can do. Obviously, he's playing Texas here in a few weeks in the playoffs. And he is a senior, so I wonder if he'd be involved with the Senior Bowl or the senior stuff. After the season. So, no, man, no. Thank you for the breakdown. Husky fans, please don't come at us. We're still fans of him. We've been on his train for before the season even started.
Oh yeah.
So I think in this case, I'll more or less speak for myself. I won't speak for you, but I'm more turned away from his film because I think that we were so high on him throughout the season that we'd expected just rainbows and sunshine in this film. They kind of confirmed, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback this year, right? And then we saw there's a little bit chinks in the armor here. There are a little bit of red flags involved, but I think he's still a great prospect, and I'm still rooting for him. I want him to go win it all. So man. I think that's a great breakdown. Yeah,
we were also big proponents and pushers of believing he should be, the Heisman Trophy winner, and I still stand by that. I mean, he's had a fantastic season, and when his highs are going, his highs are high, but at the same time, I feel like you get so caught up watching it live that you kind of absentmindedly forget, oh yeah, by the way, the score should be 80-7 right now because he missed 3 or 4 deep throws to guys that were wide open by themselves and just missed these. So again, it's nothing against the Washington team. It's nothing against Michael Penix. I still really hope he pans out in the NFL. I still, mentally, what's key to me is mentally he's still there. He's still getting to the right read, to the right time, to the right guy. It's just about cleaning up his accuracy, cleaning up his footwork. But yeah, you guys let us know what you think. Head down to the comment section. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Where would you like to see him go? Let us know. We always love hearing from you guys. We always love talking, engaging with you guys. If this is where we're losing you, it's been the RFL show. I'm Emmett. I'm B. You guys can check us out on all our socials. But until next time, it's been fun.